could effectively close the sky. I'm not sure we will be able to do it on all Ukraine, but it will definitely help. What they have provided us definitely helps achieve that goal. Now, where do we go from here? As I told you, the weapons that have been provided so far are strengthening our existing army, but not the mobilized troops. The mobilized troops, there are like about 200,000 people. Unfortunately, our military sort of it's well equipped of the existing part of the army. So it's like about 250,000 people, so to speak. The people who have been mobilized right now, those extra 150,000, say, they don't really have that good of equipment. So, in addition to actually shift the war, shift the tides of war, and actually not just stopping the Russian aggression, but actually attacking and pushing them away, we will need additional support, but in a bit different type. We will actually need some basic stuff like trucks, armored carriers, mortars, conventional weaponry, multiple rocket launch systems, stuff like that. Yes, it's additional help for sure, but by doing so, we'll be able to fend them away and basically win the war with this additional help. So I think this communication with Ukraine and Western allies will switch to helping with more conventional weapons because we have to basically equip much more people, like hundreds of thousands of people. So I think this is where it will go. And from what I heard from President Biden and Boris Johnson and Chancellor of Germany, this is exactly what they're talking about right now. Now, this is when we're talking about the conversation between Ukraine and the West. There is, of course, another problem, potential problem here, is that Putin will use chemical or maybe nuclear weapons. Now, this is, of course, another matter entirely. I have no idea what the West is going to do if Putin decides to use chemical weapons. I think it will escalate the conflict, which is actually what we have been telling you and saying to the West from the beginning. There is no need to try to negotiate with Putin because he's mad. So what you need to do is to stop him right now. So if he does escalate the conflict, you need to respond. There is no way you should say, "Oh, it's getting too far. We need to seek for the diplomatic solution." It's not going to work like that because it just pushes him to do more and more. What you actually need to do is pressure him even more. I don't know how exactly the West is going to do it. I'm not a military expert, but I'm sure the Biden's administration has already said that if they will use chemical weapons, the West will respond. It means that they will increase pressure on Russia even more. So, from my point of view, again, I'm not a military expert, this will mean probably even harsher sanctions, which effectively will mean to close all business with Russia completely. Completely. Like any kind of business that is done with Russia has to be stopped, period. Anything has to be stopped. And maybe even using anti-aircraft, anti-air missiles over the area of Ukraine, so effectively like closing the sky. But again, I'm not a military expert. This is something for for President Biden and his administration and NATO to decide.
Well, I'm glad you pointed out, though, Mark, just the importance of sometimes giving you guys the equipment that your people there already know how to use. And sometimes it does come down to the most basic items that will
Yes.
help you continue this fight on the ground. Lastly, I just want to touch on since you have been speaking with us now for these past few weeks. We are 1 month in. You've been living in that bomb shelter. How about you? Because I know as a journalist, we do try to you take ourselves out of these stories when we're talking about what's been happening. But how are you personally doing over these last few weeks in Ukraine since you are right there in Kiev, in the heart of where everything's been happening?
Again, I'm doing fine because Kiev is not that bad, seriously. So the fighting is happening around the city, not inside the city, not even on the borders of the city. So, and because I live, well, I wouldn't say it's a bunker, but it's like it's a shed, it's an underground, apartment. It's minus level one. So it means that I'm fairly safe. So even if the bomb will blow up somewhere in the next door, probably nothing's gonna happen to me. So it gives me like pretty solid and pretty safe environment where I'm at. And because the fighting is shifting a little bit further from Kiev, shelling of Kiev is, it's more sporadic and chaotic. And even though it happens every day, even though the people get injured and sometimes, unfortunately, even die from these shellings, I would say that where I am is pretty safe. So, I'm fine. I'm trying to do my best to help the troops and to supply as much stuff as we can possibly can. We have been able to buy some pretty good stuff, and it's being transported here right now. We have been able to secure some really good drones that are being transported right now here. That is really helpful for the guys on the front line to do some recon with these drones. They can see in the dark. They give them some really top-notch intelligence of the troops of the enemy. So we're just doing our job, and that's actually how this war will be won. We will be able, everyone is trying to put their effort and help in the way they can. Literally, the whole country is doing this, and even lots of volunteers abroad. So, because we are so united around our goal, I'm very sure we're gonna succeed because their army is demoralized. It's incredibly corrupt. Its logistics is completely in ruins. I see absolutely no way how they can win this. It's only in the brains of Putin he can, I don't know, use either chemical weapons or even nuclear weapons. But to be honest, I don't really think about this because if he does use nuclear weapons, that would basically mean the end of Russia. Uh, I don't. I'm not even sure that the military officers that will receive such an order will actually execute that order because, unlike Putin, they're not insane, probably, and they will understand what will happen to Russia immediately after they will use the nuclear weapons. So, to be honest, I don't really think about it. I'm just concentrated on this war that we have right now. I'm concentrated on helping our guys as much as possible so that we can, finish this fight as quickly as possible. And looking at the counterattacks of the last few days, I would say that, we already shift into defending, into attacking. So this is it.
Well, we certainly appreciate everything you have been doing. I know you're very humble about the work you're doing, but also just even talking with different media personnel. We've seen you on a number of different channels, but also right here with us, checking in and making sure to share the stories, not only of the items still needed, the things that you guys are still striving to do, but also the success stories. Hearing that you are able to hold off these Russian troops, push them back on that territory, we really appreciate it. And of course, we are going to continue to give you our support here and now. Also, you're seeing world leaders showing that support, united with those Ukrainian people who are standing so strong here today, just 1 month after this invasion. So thank you again, Mark. We appreciate your time joining us here on Live Now from Fox, and I can't wait to speak with you again here soon, and hopefully we have more success stories to share with our viewers.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, Mark Sapchak here with us on Live Now from Fox. Thank you so much.